Venice, late June 2025. A coalition of different organizations rally against multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos's huge wedding celebration. They claim the tycoon is taking over the entire city as his personal playground. Loudly speaking out against this is perfectly legal, even in Italy, but those taking part in such events can face harsh consequences, depending on what they do there, as the Italian government has recently introduced new security laws. An Extinction Rebellion activist who was there in Venice shares her take.
They were targeted against climate movements, like turning the road blockade into a penal crime. It also targets movements that are against big infrastructure projects, like against the high-velocity trains, or people against the bridge between Messina and Reggio Calabria. In general, this right-wing government is creating a sense of insecurity in order to justify these measures to reduce the freedoms of people and reduce the rights to protest.
There have been protests against these very laws, like this one in Rome. Protesters say the new laws also aim to silence unwanted voices of opposition. The Meloni government's security bill covers many elements. Some of the most controversial ones include road and rail blockades. These are now a criminal offence, punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Squatting in houses or flats is also now a crime, with a prison term of up to 7 years. Even obstructing or passively resisting police can now mean a prison sentence of up to 5 years. Some of the measures clearly target acts of civil disobedience, unlawful acts that some parts of society consider legitimate. Here's how government officials justify the bill's harsher penalties and extended police powers.
Manifestare sì, trasformare la manifestazione di un'idea in un atto di guerriglia urbana nei confronti delle città, no. È uno strumento che dà più potere alle forze di polizia, più potere ai sindaci e alle amministrazioni locali per rispondere al bisogno e alla domanda di sicurezza dei cittadini italiani.
Critics dispute this narrative that Italy is facing urgent security issues requiring tougher laws.
Es geht wirklich viel mehr darum, eine gewisse politische Stimmung zu schaffen im Lande, wo man sagt, okay, ihr seid die Bösen, egal aus welchem Grund ihr protestiert, ihr seid böse und ja, die Gutmenschen machen so etwas nicht. Wenn du protestierst im Namen von so allgemeinen, theoretischen, also wie man immer sagt, ideologischen Sachen wie die Rechtsstaatlichkeit oder die Grundrechte, ja, wem interessiert das letztendlich? Uns interessiert die Ordnung.
The Meloni government isn't alone in pursuing such a policy in Europe. Each year, the NGO Liberties, also known as the Civil Liberties Union for Europe, publishes a report on the state of civil rights across the EU. Recently, Liberties recorded a decline in freedom of expression and the right to protest in 7 out of 21 EU countries. According to Liberties, Italy, Bulgaria, France, Germany, Hungary, Lithuania and Slovakia are regressing. Only Czechia has improved slightly.
We found that there were kind of restrictions on the right to protest, on freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of expression in all countries across the European Union. So, for example, in Germany, there was a temporary blanket ban on pro-Palestine protests. In Hungary, since the COVID period and then the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the government has continuously re-instigated emergency measures, which again allow them to restrict the right to protest. Then we've seen kind of disproportionate use of force by the police, kind of water cannons, water sprays, pain grips in quite some numbers of countries.
Protesting should be conducted within a legal framework. But critics accuse the state of attempting to use legislation to remove unwanted positions from the public eye and of using disproportionate measures of repression to do so. International organizations share this view. Italy's new security laws have been sharply criticized by the Council of Europe, the United Nations, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe.